God, you're all right.
God, yeah, let's thank God, shall we? For his blessings are raining down upon me. Wait, that's not rain!
Bruce, please don't do that, honey. You know that everything happens for a reason.
That I don't need. That is a cliche. That is not helpful to me. A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. I have no bird. I have no bush. God has taken my bird and my bush.
Oh, I see. So God is picking on you? Is that what you're saying?
No, he's ignoring me completely. He's far too busy giving Evan everything he wants. Oh, that's great, Sam. But you missed your target. I'm over here.
Don't get mad at the dog. It's not the dog's fault.
No, it's God's fault. I gave him the wrong coordinates.
All right, you know what? Enough. All right, will you just stop being such a martyr?
I am not being a martyr. I'm a victim. God is a mean kid sitting on an anthill with a magnifying glass, and I'm the ant. He could fix my life in 5 minutes if he wanted to, but he'd rather burn off my feelers and watch me squirm.
All right, sweetheart, I know that you're mad. It's completely understandable. What Evan did is slimy and wrong. But this day could have been so much worse. I'm just glad you're okay.
Okay? Newsflash. I'm not okay. I'm not okay with a mediocre job. I'm not okay with a mediocre apartment. I'm not okay with a mediocre life.
So is that what you think that we have? A mediocre life?
Don't make this about you.
About me? How can I make this about me? It's about you. It's always about you.
Perfect. Perfect. I'll have the worst day of my life with a side order of guilt, please.
Well, hey guys, my name is Roy Biancalana, and welcome to The Way of the Superior Man, becoming the man every woman wants and the world desperately needs. And I'm honored to be with you over the next number of weeks as we explore what that means to be a superior man. And I guess, guys, when you saw that clip from Bruce Almighty there, I don't know many men who can't relate to the issue of feeling like his life is mediocre. That his way in the world, his work, even his relationship with women are not really working the way he knows it can. You know, and many women, they don't really understand the special pain that a man feels. There's really this indescribable pain of when a man knows his life isn't being lived well. Very little hurts more than that to a masculine person. To feel like, month after month or year after year, feeling a bit impotent or even lost, unable to craft a life of meaning and purpose and even a degree of success. So I believe mediocrity, that feeling that Jim Carrey was capturing there, is so painful that it's really a lot of the reason why we men spend so much time zoning out in front of the television or messing with porn or drinking too much beer to kind of numb that feeling of mediocrity. So this course is about facing that mediocrity, discovering what it means to be a superior man, really the men we were born to be. So let's just come out right here with, what do I mean when I say a superior man? Well, I believe he's a man who's committed to discovering and living his deepest truth with integrity and humor, fearlessly and persistently giving his gifts, whether or not they're received or even appreciated. A superior man is one who loves and pursues his chosen woman, not as some scared macho jerk bully, but neither as a spineless new age nice guy wimp. He is spontaneous and spiritually alive, feeling through the fleeting, meaningless moment into the openness of infinity, totally committed to magnifying freedom and love. Now that's a heck of a definition, but we're going to unpack most of that over the next number of weeks. So this course is really for a specific kind of man. One whose mission in life is just not getting paid and getting laid. In fact, let me just say that if you've come to this eCourse thinking you're going to learn how to pick up chicks, get a little TNA, you come to the wrong place. If you have come to this course because you want to get your wife off your ass You want to kind of make her calm down, throw her a little bone or something so you can continue to go through life fat, drunk, and stupid. That ain't this course either. Okay? This course is for men who are sick of mediocrity. They're sick of safety, ease, and comfort. They're motivated by knowing the pain of what it is to not be living life the way they know they could be living it. So this course is for men who want their life to mean something, who see themselves as expressions of God in the world, expressions of presence, of consciousness, whatever words you want to use, penetrating, and I mean that, penetrating both women and the world, opening them both up to God. That's what this course is for and who it's for. Superior men are the kind of men that women want and the world desperately needs. So if that's what you're about, if that's what you're interested in, you've come to the right place. And so it does not matter what age you are. It doesn't matter what your relationship status is. It doesn't even matter what your sexual orientation is. This course is for men who want to be superior men. Now, discussing what that means, comes at a particularly confusing time, I think, for men. Because we've come out of a couple of eras. The era of the 50s and 60s kind of dominant male thing, where there were clearly defined sex roles. Men were men, women were women, and a man was in charge, and he was this dominant kind of person. And then we kind of went through the 80s and 90s where, we were like all Phil Donahue and Alan Alda, all touchy-feely, the sensitive kind of new age kind of man. He was kind of getting in touch with his feminine side and learning to kind of take the edge off from that dominant thing, which to some degree was a good move. But, women started saying after we became these sensitive new age, in touch with our feminine sides men, women started saying, men are kind of wimps. I mean, they don't have much backbone anymore. Where are all the trustable men? Where are the men that, can move into the world and stand for something and bring a kind of power and presence into their lives that they can play off of and work with? So we went through this kind of dominant thing, and then we went through this all sensitive thing. And I think even us men began to recognize something's off here. Neither one of those things resonates very deeply with most men. And so I think that we've been in literal no man's land between the dominant kind of Archie Bunker type of the past to the new age sensitive guy more recently, and not feeling either one of them are really true expressions of the masculine. So it's time for another shift. Time for a shift maybe into a third kind of masculinity, or maybe the deepest kind of masculinity. So let's look at those three kinds a little bit. So you have that dominant style, right? And I believe this was a man who was really about acquisition. It's an acquisitional style. It's about, I want to get more. I want to get more money and get a better career, and I want to have more notches in my belt, and I want to get more women. I want to get more sex. The dominant male model is all about me and what I can get and what I can own and how many women I got and how much money I got and what kind of car I drive. So it's all about that kind of self-centered, I'm seeking things outside myself mode. That's the dominant style. Now, that sensitive style was more not about acquisition as much as it was about transformation. This is where we became men where we didn't want more, but we wanted better. We wanted not like just more money, but maybe a better, more satisfying career. We didn't want necessarily a bunch of women. We wanted to have maybe a better relationship. And so this sensitive man was all about bettering himself, being about transformation, about personal growth, about self-realization, So we went out into the woods and started beating on drums, and, we got earrings and grew our hair long, and it was all about more seeking what was inside. Whereas the acquisitional man, the dominant man is, it's all out there, I want to get it for me. Where the sensitive man was all about, I want to discover the insides of me and find betterment on the inside. And neither one of those have been very satisfying. So, but then there's this, what I'm calling the superior style, where he's not about acquisition, and he's not really even about transformation. It's more sacrificial. So instead of trying to acquire or trying to transform, it's more about losing oneself and seeing that your life is a sacrifice of some kind. It's a surrender of self, where life becomes a sacrifice to your deepest purpose. It becomes a sacrifice of giving the gifts that you have to give to the world and to women. It becomes a sacrifice of learning to love another woman in a way that opens her up to a deeper realization of herself and of God. So this superior man is not about getting stuff. It's not about himself and his own growth. It's about how can my life be used as a sacrifice to open everything around me to a deeper realization, to a deeper consciousness, to a deeper sense of God. Okay? So I'm in kind of a unique position because my mission is to build conscious relationships. And it affords me kind of a unique perspective. Because do you know what I do, guys, all day? All day, about 75% of my clients are women. So all day, I talk to women about you, okay? And about me. And so I'm sort of like that character Mel Gibson played in that movie, What Women Want. You remember that movie where he falls into the tub and a hairdryer, and he gets this power of being able to read women's minds, and he knows what they're thinking? Well, I can't read women's minds, but I've spent so many years and so many hours talking to so many different kinds of women of every age, of every nationality, of every sexual orientation. I've talked to so many of them, it's like I know what they're thinking because they've told me. And so I'm afforded this insight to bring to you because a lot of times women, when they're with you or in relationship with you or working with you, they don't necessarily tell you what they're thinking. But they do sit in my office, and they do because I'm not involved with them, and they tell me about the men in their life, of what's happening, what turns them on, what turns them off, what attracts them, what they're looking for. So I'm going to be able to share that with you today. And I can tell you that they don't want macho jerks. They don't want bullies. They don't want pretty boys, nice boys, party boys, boring boys, frat boys, wimpy boys, or mama's boys. What they want, if I put it in my terms, is they want superior men. They want, frankly, they want God incarnated through our masculine bodies. That's what they really want. And that's what they deserve, as much as we want God animated through their feminine bodies. So they want men who are willing to penetrate them. And I mean that physically and emotionally and spiritually and relationally. They want men who are willing to penetrate them and the world with integrity and humor. And I think we want the same things. So what women want of us is really who we are, and it's what we want to bring forth into the world as well. Now, having said that, this course is really not about what women want. This is about who we really are. Even though I've titled it, being a man every woman wants. This is about being who we are. And I can tell you that women are begging for superior men. They are begging for it. And I'm telling you guys that if you are a superior man, they will give you their bodies so much so that they'll wear you out. They will worship the very ground that you walk on, respecting who you are, admiring who you are in the world. They will light up your life with their feminine beauty if you become a superior man. Choked up there. And we can do this, and you can do this if you take the principles I'm going to share with you throughout this course seriously. You can be a superior man. So if I had to summarize my findings as Mel Gibson, knowing what women think, knowing what they want, I would probably choose one word to describe what it is they want. And maybe not superior. What I would call it is they want trustable men. Men that are like a rock. Men that are grounded. Men that are centered. Men that are directed. Now, being a trustable man, that doesn't sound very sexy. That doesn't sound too exciting to you and me. But I'm telling you guys, it makes them wet. It absolutely buckles their knees to think of a man being trustable in their lives. So we're going to spend the rest of this e-course talking about what that means to be a trustable or superior man. Now, let me wrap up this section here by telling you a little bit about the course and about the journey that is before us. You're going to find that this course has 5 modules. You're going to have access to 1 module per week. Now, I can tell you the last module may be your favorite one because I am gathering 3 women, 3 very powerful, very grounded women that you and I would love to be with. I'm going to have a panel discussion with them and let them tell you what they're looking for, what they're turned on by, what they're turned off by, what they're looking for, what makes them want to open their hearts and their bodies to you. So the last module, module number 5, will be a panel discussion with 3 very beautiful women that represent 3 different age ranges. Around the 30, around 40, and around the 50. So you get a perspective of all of them. So each module that you'll get on a weekly basis here has a number of sections in them. And after each section, like in just a minute, there are questions, essay kind of questions for you to answer. And let me tell you guys, if you want to be a superior man, if you want to grow into being a man that every woman wants and the world desperately needs, you gotta go deep in the questions. The money in this course is not me talking to you. The money is in what you do between the sections and how much time and effort and thought and introspection you put into those questions. So I can't stress that enough. That this whole course, its effect in your life resides what happens when my face disappears and you're left with those questions. Okay? Now, as you know, there's a basic membership to Coaching with Roy, or you can upgrade to Premium or Diamond, which gives you more access to me. And I'm telling you right now, maybe your membership is basic. That's great. You get the course, you get email availability with me. But let me just tell you, you are probably, almost certainly going to want to upgrade your membership to have a chance to talk with me about some of the things we're going to go into here. This will probably be a deeper, more profound experience for you than you might have been expecting. And it may challenge you in a much deeper way about your manhood, about being a superior man than you may have expected. And you may want to bat around some ideas and some of your thoughts concerning what's being said here. So all throughout this course, stop at any moment and upgrade your membership so you can have a coaching session with me, like the Premium session gives you, or upgrade to the Diamond, where you get 1 coaching session per week. Yeah, it costs more. But what's more worth it than living your life not in a place of mediocrity, but in a place of superiority? Okay? Okay, so we'll take our first time out. And I want you to spend some time with these questions. And when we come back, we'll start to dive more deeply into what it means to be a trustable man. All right, we'll see you back in just a moment.